Hey guys, I'm Greg Stocks and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm passionate about all things video and travel, and today I'm going to be running through some tips on how you can film a wedding. These are things that I've picked up over the last few years filming weddings. They're by no means set rules. You don't have to listen to me, but I can assure you I've learned the hard way on some of these things and I'm sure they're going to help you out. So let's get into it. So whilst I go over these tips, guys, I'm gonna have some footage from some weddings that I've filmed running over the top of this. Just why not, we're chatting about weddings. So in at number one, this is in no particular order, but I would say a good tip for you is to build a rapport with the photographers, because ultimately you want to stay out of each other's way, and there's no harm in having a little chat at the beginning of the day, just to be like, hey, so where are you going to be positioning for this? Oh, do you mind if I get this shot here? And just really work together, because there's nothing worse than not getting along with that person and then you're just in each other's way and in each other's shots. So yeah, definitely have a quick chat with the photographer and see how you can both work together. So in at number two, you're going to need a sufficient amount of kit. You're going to need memory cards, batteries, camera bodies, ideally at least two. You're going to need a couple of lenses, perhaps a monopod, gimbal, tripod. Don't forget your audio equipment as well. You can be a bit more minimal with setups. I tend to just have a tripod, two cameras, two lenses, a wide and a zoom, a Rode Mic Pro, and then I have some Zoom H1 recorders with some lavalier mics. But I cannot stress enough how important it is to have memory cards and batteries on you guys. So one of the first weddings that I filmed, I had enough memory cards with me on the day. However, I had them in my bag at the back of the church, and I was obviously at the front and I'm filming the wedding rings go on, and all of a sudden my card's full. And I'm looking in my pocket and I'm like, oh shit, no. This horrible feeling where you're thinking, shit, I can't leg it back to the church now. Like, I learned the hard way. So there I was at the most crucial moment of the day and I'd run out of space. So I had to go through the memory card and delete some previous stuff off that day just so I had space to then capture the rest, which was just, like, quite frankly, giving me a heart attack. So from that point on, I always made sure that I had several memory cards stored with me at all times, so batteries in your pockets. So don't make the same mistake that I did. You don't necessarily need gimbals, monopods, however, just find what works for you. Lighting is another thing. The panel that's lighting me up at the moment, a newer LED panel, I've got 3 of them, and I take 2 of those to a wedding just to primarily use during the first dance. They're good just to have up the sides of the dance floor. I've got some sandbags as well to make sure no one trips over those light stands. But purely and simply, remember to have all the right kit on you. Also, so when I attend a wedding, I'm also bringing a laptop with me and some hard drives, so I like to back up footage whenever I can. I tend to back up footage before the ceremony starts, so any bride, groom prep, I back that up, and then after ceremony I back that footage up then as well, and then at the end of the day I do a third backup, and then I back everything else up in the car journey home or on the train, or when I get home onto a second hard drive, because until I've got it on a second hard drive I was still worried that the footage can somehow vanish. And don't format cards on the day. That's unless you're really sure. I prefer to just use a card, you know, fill it up, then put that card away and then start on a fresh card, because you don't want to put a card into your camera before you've backed up and you accidentally format it. Thankfully that hasn't happened to me. It's very nearly happened, and then I had a slight panic and I thought, oh actually I've not backed this footage up yet. So please just don't delete your footage, whatever you do. Number 3, do not neglect the audio, guys. I can't stress how important this is. It's all well and nice having all this beautiful cinematic footage, but for me it's the audio that's really telling the story of that day. So whether it's recording the speeches to the ceremony itself, you know, capturing the vows and the minister, quite often they can say some really nice beautiful stuff, which I tend to always use in my videos. And then you've also got your general ambience of the day. Maybe it might be birds outside, just the general atmosphere. Try to include that as well, so that when you're watching the video, the audio is filling up your ears instead of watching something and there's just no sound. So my fourth tip is to find and listen to music that you're gonna play in the wedding video before the actual wedding. This, for me, I feel like it just enhances my creativity. I like to listen to the music before the day of the wedding. It can just inspire you and you can think, oh yeah, I can get this kind of shot that will fit nice and edit to that beat of the music. So that's something that I recommend doing. It's not essential by any means. There has been times where I've actually changed my mind and gone for a different track once I have filmed, but generally speaking, I think it's a really good idea to find the music beforehand. So my next tip is to be fully prepared for anything. You never know what can happen on a wedding day. I've had a few spanners thrown in the works. One of my first weddings, I had the bride getting ready in a hotel room and I was filming, you know, hair and makeup. And the next minute we were getting kicked out of the hotel because checkout time was at 10 and the bride thought it was at 12 and they had no other rooms available. So off we were marching down the road trying to find somewhere else, which we did, thankfully. And then I managed to incorporate that into the video and it was quite funny. So it's just important to like adapt to that situation, whatever you're in, just like think on your feet. Another thing, you know, I spoke to the bride and groom beforehand on a separate occasion. They told me there was going to be 3 speeches. Then on the day they were actually like, oh no, we've got a few other friends that want to do some speeches, and it ended up being 7 speeches. Crazy number. But yeah, just be fully prepared that anything could happen. Just make sure you're on your toes. Okay, next tip, which some of you may disagree, but I find that it's better to overshoot than to undershoot. So just make sure you're filming enough content, guys. Like, it's better to have too much, I think, and then cut down from there. So you've got lots of variety with your shots, than actually when it comes to the edit and you're like, oh crap, I could have done with a few extra shots here or there. You know, really the only time that I'm not filming is when I've gone for a wee or I'm eating. Generally I'm running around seeing what else I can get. So yeah, just make sure that you film enough. Okay guys, my next tip is just to remember that it's the bride and groom special day, not yours. So I know everyone has their own styles, but you know, just try not to be too bossy with the bride and groom. Like, let them enjoy their day. I tend to take a fly on the wall approach to things, so I'm not directing them to, oh, can you walk this way, and can you look at this, look this way, hold hands here and give me a kiss over there, because you'll soon find that they'll just get fed up and they'll be like, oh, I want to go back to my friends. So just, you know, remember that it's about them, it's not about you. As much as it's nice to tick off those shots, just try to perhaps be less invasive and capture those moments as they happen, which is easier said than done. But when you do get those shots, they're the real money shots. Okay guys, my next tip is to make sure that you effectively communicate with your second shooter or third shooter. Do people use 3 people to film weddings? I know some people do actually. I know many of you do shoot solo on your wedding days. I personally always like to have a second person because quite often I like being at the front during the ceremony, and I like to have possibly a second camera on the back on a tripod in the middle of the aisle, and then so I'm at the front on one side and I like to have a second shooter at the front on the other side. So it covers another angle for you. It also, if for whatever reason you don't capture a shot, you've got the other angle to capture that for you. Like, it's horrible when someone's head pops up over the lens and you miss that kiss, or you miss this really nice touching moment. So yeah, just establish what you want from your second videographer early in the day, or speak to them beforehand. Get to know that person and make sure that they're feeling comfortable in the day. Answer any questions that they may have. Ultimately, I've already said I don't like to direct the bride and groom, but your second shooter is there to listen and do what you say. So it's important to get across what you really want from them. Okay, next up guys, make sure that you're fully prepared before the wedding. So with things such as making sure that you're fully insured to shoot at that venue. Also research into the venue where it is you're going to be filming. You know, perhaps you can search the venue on Instagram or look them up online, or if they're not too far away, then drive down there and see what it's like. Ring them up, ask if you can have a look around, and then it's good to, you know, already establish some shots that you're going to want to take from that day, or at least you're going to know the setup. You know, think about where you're going to place your cameras, where the best place to get shots, what's the lighting like. It's good to just have an idea, so that you're not just turning up on the day and thinking, all right, where have I got to go to film the ceremony? I also like to really meet up with the bride and groom beforehand. Now I know that's not always possible because you could be in complete opposite ends of the country, but if not, then try to Skype or at least have a phone call with them, try and get to know them. Obviously, they're probably very interested in your style of work anyway, but find out if there is something specific that they really want. It's good to just really get to know them, and ultimately they're spending money on you, so they're the client and you want to make sure that you're ticking all the boxes for them. And remember guys, you're representing your business, so you know, make sure that you're dressed smartly. I know weddings can be very hot, so we have to think about practicality as well, but you want to look presentable, you want to come across presentable. You know, don't be rude to anyone, just be respectful. Okay, next up guys, make sure you bring a big fat bottle of water and some snacks with you, because although quite often there is a bar and there's drinks going around, sometimes it's hours before you get access to a drink or some food. So just always make sure to bring some water with you. And it's a very long day, let's face it. I mean, I'm there from about half nine in the morning through to like an hour after first dance at 9 p.m, 10 p.m, you know, it's minimum 12-hour shooting day, so it's a very long day. So just make sure you bring some bits of nibbles and drink, because you never know how long you're going to be waiting to be fed, and you don't want a migraine on a wedding day. And you know, it can be, some of these weddings, it can be a very hot day, so stay hydrated. And also just remember to have fun guys. You know, you are working, it is a long day, but you can be as creative as you want to be. Weddings are, generally speaking, really good, happy vibes. You know, everyone's in a good mood, there's good food, there's good music, it's a special occasion, people meeting up that they haven't seen in ages, celebrating the coming together of the bride and the groom. So yeah, just have fun with it. Okay guys, thank you if you've made it through to the end of this video. I hope that was of value to you. If you have any other wedding filmmaking tips, then please comment them below. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm going to be bringing you plenty more videos all about travel and filmmaking, and some photography videos coming as well, so please do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, positive vibes, bye bye. I'm so tired, it's a Thursday night and it's been a long day at work. Why am I making YouTube videos? Because I love YouTube.